everybody, welcome back to the kitchen renovation. You're used to seeing Mark, but today you get me. I'm Katie. I'm going to show you a few behind the scenes organizational things that Mark does in every single home renovation. And it doesn't even need to be during a renovation. He just likes to organize his things this way. So we are going to start with my absolute favorite, buckets. There's buckets everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 3 stacked there. You just can't see. He will cart anything around in a bucket. And then it also just stays here too. He'll have empty buckets so he can put scrap wood. I just think it's so funny. He does buy nice bags to put his stuff in, but we'll put it in a bucket. That's easier. The other thing that I also think is so funny is when he takes a door out before it gets burned or recycled or thrown away, he often turns it into a table somewhere. So in the basement, I think we actively have 2 door tables. So we have one here full of stuff. And then we have another door over here serving a different purpose. This is our dog gate so that the dogs stay safe. So, I mean, this one makes sense. Oh, here comes my bucket guy.
What are you doing?
Your job. I'm doing the intro.
Oh.
Remember to like and subscribe.
All right. By my logic, we're about halfway through this project. That's not necessarily timeline-wise, but we're like halfway through the different sections of the project. The gutting is done. The structural changes are done. The windows are in. It's actually time to start putting the place back together. In fact, this week I've been running wires. I don't know how much you can see there, but there's wires just about everywhere. Miles and miles of wires, way more than I thought there was going to be. But you haven't seen Katie through this whole project, at least that I can remember. How you doing with it?
I wouldn't want to do something like this through the winter.
No.
That we've been a little bit busy and able to be outside has been an absolute lifesaver. Able to grill right now is the busiest time for us as a family with kids sports and kids being out of school. That
Right.
has been a little bit challenging.
Right, and it cuts into working time.
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot that needs to be done immediately under my desk.
Yeah.
A lot of banging.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Well, it's not my fault that most of the lights are underneath your office.
Okay.
I scare you a little bit sometimes.
Sometimes I am not ready for the loud noises. But, I mean, mostly it's been good. 9 weeks. I can't even believe that we're saying we've been doing this for 9 weeks. But 9 weeks have gone by so fast.
Yeah.
I know it didn't feel fast while you were having insulation rain down on you and fighting the load-bearing chicken wire.
Yeah.
But it's gone fast.
I'm surprised it's taken this long, and I'm surprised it's already been this long.
I think we thought we would have been able to get this done in 12 weeks.
I'm hoping to be done in another 8 weeks at this point.
Yeah, me too.
That would be ideal. But we're getting close. We have to get the electrical finished. We're going to get it inspected here in the next at least week.
Yep.
And as soon as that gets the green light, then I can spray foam everything and I can drywall everything. And I'm going to have some help with that because I can't really do a full sheet and a screwdriver at the same time.
Yeah.
And then we can start mudding and texturing and painting. And somewhere in the middle of all that, like when the mud is going to be wet, I'm going to be building the cabinets so that as soon as the opportunity hits, I can start throwing cabinets in.
Yeah.
And then there's floors.
Yeah, and highlights from this week, I would say we had one really big high and one really big low.
I don't
the
know
windows,
what you're gonna say.
The windows are now all in. We were just waiting on that big window. I ordered all of the other windows at the same time. And then panicked a little bit because once we got everything demoed, the little window that I ordered for the dining room just didn't make sense. So I ordered a brand new one. We were waiting for it to arrive. It arrived like 2 days after you and Dad installed everything else.
It was
so that was kind of a bummer.
That window was a very small window. It was the same size that was in there before, back when it was a 8 by 8 foot dining room.
Yeah.
So once the walls were all removed, you looked at that window space and you go, this is a tiny window in a huge wall. And the whole place is going to get brighter because of just being opened up and having better lighting. But just that little window in that wall wasn't letting the amount of light in that you think it maybe should have. So that's kind of why she pivoted to the great big 5 by 5.
Yeah. So I would say that was our win for the week.
Okay. What's the other part?
Our low for the week was my dad coming over and just very sweetly having coffee with us on Sunday, and we were having a great conversation, and then all of a sudden he said, "You realize you're not going to be able to save those original hardwood floors." And both of our jaws just dropped.
It was a little less abrupt than that. I asked him before we started this whole thing, have you patched hardwood floors before? And he said, yes. I went, great. That's all I need to worry about. I wasn't sure the technique to patching a hardwood floor. He can show me. Let's move on. Well, we got this far, and he's like, I'm done, right? I can be out of this project? Sure. But can you tell me how to do the patching of the hardwood floors? And he goes, about that.
No.
And then he kind of laid out how much time it would take me, how much somebody would charge me to pay them to do it, and then how much buying new pre-finished hardwood floors were going to be.
So, to be fair, when he originally told us that he could help, we weren't going to demo that. And so there is now patching that needs to be done in the middle of the house that we weren't really planning on. The patching over here would have been easy. It's the fact that we would have to literally pull everything up to the middle of the house and a little bit past, and then lay it all back down. It's just not going to happen.
So the ultimate decision is we're already into this thing and we're doing it the way we want to do it. So we're also going to buy a floor.
Yes.
Which means there's going to be plenty of recycled red oak hardwood flooring that if anybody wants to pull a bunch of nails, they can come get it. Let
us know.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, so far, how has the project gone as far as you're concerned? Is it exactly what you expected? Are you surprised and scared? Are you mad because it's not done yet?
It was much more labor intensive than I thought it was going to be, and I have not been doing the labor.
My arms don't work anymore.
So it was really scary walking into this space the first time that everything was down, that those walls were taken out, there was still debris everywhere. That was really overwhelming because you can't even start to see the space. It was really cool when the first wall came down because it's like, yay, it's gonna be open now. But that was really overwhelming. Now that we are to a spot where we're ready to build back up, and we have like the drawings of where the island is going to be and where the cupboards are going to be.
You can actually picture it.
Yeah, I find myself coming in here in the evenings and just walking around and imagining what our new space will look like.
Right.
So right now it's really fun. Also, when you took that out and I came home, and when you took that, moved that stud back a little bit on the stairway, it was so awesome to like stand over there on where your door table is.
My door table, yeah.
To stand right there because that's usually where we sit, and to look up the stairs. That was before you put that plastic back up.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my gosh, this space is so different. I love it so much.
Right.
It was really cool.
So being 9 weeks into this, that's kind of interesting. The plastic wall made me think of it. When we started this, we started based on how warm it's gotten outside so we could start grilling outside, because once we lost our kitchen, we were going to have a hard time cooking meals.
Yeah.
We've got a 2-burner camp stove in the basement, and otherwise we do everything on grills and griddles and stuff outside.
But that camp stove gets
Ooh,
used
every
every
day.
single day.
But early on, we had to figure out how to seal the place up
Yeah.
to kick the furnace back on because it was so cold. I think
Yeah.
it snowed on us one time while we were in the gutting process.
Yep.
Now, 9 weeks later, it's so hot that by noon, I can't hardly stand to be in this space because we got a pretty close to black roof and I'm completely uninsulated over here.
Yep.
And it's really, really miserable in the humidity and the heat and everything. But having all this ductwork in here sealed up and that silly little plastic wall, we can have the air conditioning going on to the whole house and be pretty comfortable in there without suffering much. And I don't think it's obviously not perfect, but we're not bleeding air conditioning out into the nothing. It's working. But
yeah,
it does also wear on my brain, and I want to get this thing insulated because then I'll feel like, okay, I'm not racing the clock anymore.
Yeah. Also, with the plastic sheeting, having that up during demo, I can't believe how little dust was getting everywhere. Like, that really did seal everything so well. Because I was worried about that, with a house full of people with allergies and just, our kids and ourselves and our dogs all living here through it. I was amazed how clean it was.
Yeah, and I think because, the demo had to happen before the big structural changes, there were really only 2 doorways that had to get taped off, so that made it pretty easy.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's a clean enough problem. I don't even have the zipper door anymore. We have the door dog gate, and we have the door to my office, which becomes the hallway through the whole house. And the only thing that really did get messy kind of consistently, kind of a couple of times, was the return vent to your office used to come through this half wall to that closet right there. And once the wall came out and the duct came out, we didn't really think about how that was just open. And probably 3 or 4 times after, gutting stuff down, I just hit everything with a leaf blower to try to get more of it down and out from the rafters. And every time I did that, I'd blow dirt into her office.
It was real bad.
But we've made a lot of progress. We got a long way to go, but I'm only partially defeated. I'm not completely defeated yet.
Well, right now with the electrical, it doesn't feel like we're making progress. Because with everything else, you could see the progress happening. You saw the walls come down. You saw the drywall, not drywall, come out.
Rock
lath, thank you.
The heavy-ass drywall.
So it's been, and even with the windows, like, yes, those were really big changes, but it was still just changing out windows for windows.
Right.
So
with the exception of that one, everything just went right back the way it was.
It doesn't look like progress.
For about 2 weeks now.
But over the next couple of weeks, we will see progress.
Right. But like I said, the electrical is run now. I have 2 outlets I still have to tie into, and the problem is they are also tied into a different circuit right now, so I have to be able to disconnect that, to run new wires to that, to then have the entire thing be inspected and get me that thumbs up. But I'm hoping by next week that's done, and maybe I'm spray foaming even by the next video. Well, what else? Anything else?
Nope,
No?
Nothing else.
Are you tired of standing in this hot space this afternoon?
It's pretty hot.
The children have been hounding us for an hour now about going and swimming in the pool, so that's probably the next thing we're going to do. But they were told to be quiet so we could record, and they keep getting louder. It's time to go play with kids. One last thing, though. To do all of the electrical, I really want to thank Dave and everybody over at Albert Lee Electric. They have made getting the electrical stuff a whole lot easier than I expected it would be. I was planning on spending a whole bunch of time traveling back and forth to Home Depot to figure out what I needed to get it here, to be wrong, to go return it. And after Dave came here and looked at it and went, doop, 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 doop. This is what you do. Here's a box of stuff. Start running it, and I'll come back and make sure you did it right. It's like, awesome. So thank you guys very much. If any of you happen to be in southern Minnesota, look for Albert Lee Electric. That's they're good stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
But that's all for this week, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed our talking head show with a bunch of old clips shoved in it.
Remember to like and subscribe. You don't have to use that part.
No, I'm not going to say that, so I'm glad you did it.